everybody, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Victoria Leith and I'm the founder of Caramelia Cakery. So today what I'm going to be sharing with you is a very delicious recipe, and I call it my lemon zesty chocolate hearts. And as you can guess, there's going to be lemon, there's going to be zest, and there's going to be chocolate, and we're going to put them in these heart-shaped moulds. Now you can choose whatever moulds you want to put your cakes and your treats in. I have this big heart as well, so normally what I choose to do is when I make a mixture, I think, do I want one big cake or do I want lots of little cakes? Or if you want to go even smaller, you could have an even smaller mould. So we have some rose moulds here, and we have some of these kind of like these Rolo shaped ones. I make Rolos, and what I do is I make this very nice caramel centre and with a chocolate coating and pop them into this shape, and it's kind of like those Rolos that you might remember, but I call mine Rolos. Okay, so but today I'm not going to go for the big cake heart. I want to go for the little blue ones. Of course, it's just the colour of the silicone mould. They're not actually going to turn out blue. Now this recipe calls for 200 grams of cashew nuts. It's so good for you for so many different reasons, but we're not going to have them like this, all big and crunchy. We're going to blend them up. We're going to whiz them up in the blender, which I've already done. It's very loud. I use my BlendTech blender for grinding up nuts and seeds, because it grinds them up into a very good flour, so it's very, very fine. If I grind these up in my food processor, then they're still a bit too grainy for my liking. For this particular cake, it has to be super, super fine flour. So 200 grams of cashew nuts, and then we're going to basically make sure that this really lovely fine flour. So into the mixing bowl, 200 grams goes. Okay, then I've got an organic lemon here, and make sure it is free from wax. So you look for the unwaxed lemon, because the waxy lemons, I saw something the other day and it's waxed with, I think, beetle's wings or something like that. So, or crushed beetles. I didn't know the waxy shine or the waxy sheen came from a beetle. Anyway, so I'm trying to cut out beetles from my diet at the moment. So I've cut a lemon in half. Well, first of all, I grated the lemon zest. It's about a tablespoon's worth of lemon zest, and I got about half a lemon's worth of juice, and that equates to one of these tablespoons, like my fancy tablespoon. Okay, so into the mixture it goes. So if you remember, 200 grams of cashews, 1 tablespoon of lemon zest, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Delicious. Right, you can give it a little stir if you want to, but we need to add a few more ingredients first of all. So I've got this measuring device here. This is a tablespoon, and I'm going to scoop out the coconut oil with this tablespoon, because I call this a tablespoon to make it very confusing. I just want to make sure that it is a tablespoon's worth. So yeah, that's about a tablespoon's worth, and into the mixture it goes. We want 2 of those, okay? So 2 tablespoons of coconut butter. Coconut butter, coconut oil, it's the same thing in some countries. In other countries it's different things. This is what I'm using, raw virgin coconut oil, but it becomes a butter, sort of very soft, and then hard butter depending on how hot or cold it is. The colder it is, the harder it will become. At the moment the temperature is sort of, about 20 degrees, so it's sort of soft. You can sort of, whip it and whisk it, and it's not so hard today. And sometimes it's a complete runny oil, and then you could just sort of pour it in. Okay, so we've got the coconut oil in here, and then I'm going to use a wildflower honey. It's an organic one. So again, I kind of want to get 2 tablespoons worth. If you want to measure, that's about the same as that. So I basically have 2 tablespoons worth of honey. You can use whatever sweetener you want to. The reason why I've gone for this wildflower honey, which is one of my favourite ones, it's a cold processed one, or cold pressed one, is because of the colour, because I want this to be like lemony, and this colour is very lemony looking. So we've got the lemon taste, and then we've got the lemon look as well. Okay, so now we have something that I love. This is different to coconut butter. This is coconut manna, and you might also know it as the coconut cream. You know that block of coconut cream that you kind of melt in a pan or in some hot water. Well, this is the same thing, as far as I'm aware. It tastes the same to me. And I just want to dig out. It's very crumbly. It's so delicious. It's basically the white flesh of the coconut. So I'm just going to pop in approximately 2 tablespoons of coconut manna. Okay? Now, just to go back a couple of steps, when I whizzed up my cashew nuts in the high-speed blender, I put a pinch of salt in at that point, because you can mix in the salt afterwards, but I've got quite granulated sea salt. So for me, putting the sea salt into the BlendTec or the high-speed blender that you've got, whiz it up with the cashews, then it will sort of distribute more evenly. That's what I found anyway. So then we have, just for, not just for colour, but for the wonderful effect of turmeric or turmeric. I grew up calling it turmeric, and my husband's like, it's turmeric. I don't know, whatever it is, it's amazing stuff. And I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon in and another 1/4 teaspoon in. So 1/2 teaspoon in total. So now, this is fun actually, because now you get to mix the mixture, and it's really, you know, you could do this in the food processor if you want to, but this is actually one part of cake making that I used to really love doing with my mother. So we'd sort of make cakes at home, quite a lot of cakes or pies, and she'd always let me help her stir the cake, and so this has, you know, reminiscent of just, oh, it's so lovely. The aroma in this kitchen is so lemony and sweet and lovely. If my daughter was here now, she'd be stirring this for me and making a wish. That's something you can do if you've got a family. Get each person to have a stir, make a wish. You've got to really grind this in, okay? So I'm grinding in all the ingredients. It's like a lovely batter. It's so lemony looking because of the turmeric, and all the different elements coming together. You're going to have to give it a lot of elbow grease to get all the ingredients combined. So here goes. Okay, that's like a workout for your arm. You might want to swap arms. Give yourself a bit of an arm workout. Okay, this tastes phenomenal. It is absolutely delicious. It's one of my favourite batters to make. And in my recipe book, actually, my current recipe book, I have got a very delicious lemon cake, which is pretty much akin to this recipe here. So now what we want to do is get your mould, your silicone mould of your choice. Mine's going to be hearts. And then I'm just going to grab the spoon. It's got a bit heavy on, that's okay. I'm going to start putting in some of this delicious mixture into the different moulds. When you're sort of pushing it down, you can use your fingers. It should be quite cakey. It should come together really nicely, this one, with exactly the ingredients and the measurements that I have specified. Okay, so push that down. I've got enough here to make 6 hearts. So I'm filling in about half of the mould, so half up from the bottom up, and just going to divide that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 8 lucky people. Is it just going to be me and my husband eating one of these every night for the next 4 nights? This is one good thing actually. My husband didn't used to really like my raw food creations, and then over the years he's developed a taste for them, and now he loves them. So now it's really good for me because I get to make him really lovely things, and I say, will you taste this? And he's like, yeah, that's good. And he likes all the chocolates I make, and he really likes this lemon mixture. So that is really good for both of us. Okay, really get every single bit of mixture out. And of course, you know, if you do have a son or a daughter, this is the time when you can get them to lick the spoon, and you know that there's no raw eggs in these mixtures, so you're going to be totally safe with them licking the spoon. I'm just like, I play the piano, so when I do this bit, I kind of feel like I'm playing a little song. Now usually when I'm making my cakes, I always have music playing. I will listen to, generally, to Peter Gabriel or to Kate Bush, 2 of my favourites. And it really actually is quite inspiring to listen to music when you are cake crafting. Okay. Basically, when you're making these cakes and you've got a batter, just keep putting them in the moulds until the batter runs out. So this one, there is one that's a bit smaller, but it's sort of spread over the 8 hearts, okay? So just squash them in a bit more. You know, if you want to really take your time, make them fancy, just really do use a spoon or a little spoon, use your fingers. It depends if you're selling them. If you wanted to sell something like this through your own creations, then yes, take a lot more time and make sure you're wearing your hair up, unlike me right now. So I'm not selling these, I'm just going to be eating them. Okay, now for step 2. Earlier on, I made a raw chocolate mixture, and it's very basic. It's 100 grams of cacao butter, which I gently melted. I chopped first. I could have chopped mine. It's very therapeutic for me, so I like to sort of get a very sharp knife and I just gently slice away until I get all my cacao butter chopped, and then I put it in a Pyrex dish and then put it on over a saucepan of bubbling water, and so it doesn't cook the cacao, it just gently melts it. And if you've got a dehydrator, you can melt it in there. If it's a hot day, you can melt it in the room or in the sun. Make sure the cacao butter is covered. So 100 grams of cacao butter. Look at this. Oh, if you could smell the delicious aroma of this amazing cacao chocolate mix. Look at that. Let me do that again. Look at that. So good. Okay, so yum. That was a bit of lemon. So 100 grams of cacao butter, 3 tablespoons of a nut butter of your choice. Today I quite fancied an organic peanut butter. So there's 3 tablespoons of peanut butter in my chocolate mix. And then I have 3 tablespoons of my raw honey, or my unpasteurized or cold pressed honey. Of course, if you are completely vegan and you do not want to be having honey in your creations, then use coconut nectar. In fact, you could use 3 tablespoons of coconut nectar in here and it would be just as delicious. Okay, then if your peanut butter or your nut butter has got salt in, don't bother adding any to this mixture, otherwise it'll be way too salty. And of course, 3 tablespoons, again, the measurement tablespoon, of cacao powder. And generally, I like to blend my chocolate mixes because it really incorporates everything really well, and I often use shelled hemp seeds. So if I'm using shelled hemp seeds into one of my cacao mixtures, I will blend it because it really gives it this waxy, lovely finish. It's wonderful. But today I had like a little hand whisk. In fact, here it is in my Moomin cup. Here's my magic whisk, and this is brilliant for whisking chocolate. You've kind of got to work it first with the peanut butter or the nut butter, and then set your magic whisk on them. This one, and then it really sort of whips it up really nicely. So that's good. I think I just whizzed chocolate everywhere. Cut. Right, so so now we're going to, we've got the cakey base, we've got the lemon zest cake base, and now we're basically going to put in the rest of the mould, some delicious cacao. Oh gosh. Remember guys, these cakes are treats. Okay, you don't want to be having 2 of these. 1 or half of one is way enough. But you've got to think it's all full of good stuff. So if you're eating salads and smoothies and all sorts of other things in the rest of your day, then hey, who's going to worry? Okay, so there we have it. Now, I'm not going to lift this up now because everything will go on its head. So this now will go into the fridge or the freezer, and then okay, so there you have it. There is a very delicious recipe for you to try. If you'd like to come and join me and lots of other people from all around the world, it's a very international course, then come and join us on the WonderCake 101 Raw Cake Crafting course. See if you can say that really quickly. And we have 9 modules delivered every week, 1 every week. And it's all to do with making my amazing delicious cakes. So come and sign up now and get in touch if you want a super discount after you watch this video. Come and email me now at victoria@littleguru.co.uk and I will sort you out with a discount, okay? Come and do it, it's really good fun. Thank you. Bye.